Hi everyone, welcome to Spring Boot OAUTH2 security course. I hope you guys have seen my previous videos such as the how to create a role-based access control database schema design, and then how to create a auth server, and by using auth server how to get the access token with the help of JWT and MySQL. So after those videos you watch, then you can come to the resource server. If not, I added previous videos links in my description box. Just go through those videos and then come back to the resource server. So in the resource server, I'm going to explain you. So these are the steps I'm going to show you how to configure the resource server, and then how to send the access token to the resource server. If the token have the permission, then you can access the resource, otherwise you will get an forbidden error. So the these are the steps I am going to show you how to make your microservice or make your application as a resource server. The first step, we need to add the required Gradle dependency. Before that, I want to show you already there is an application running in my machine which returns the API responses such as list of users, list of permissions, list of roles, and then you can add a role and add a user, and then you can make a CRUD operations and everything. These are the permissions I showed you in the previous videos: view permission, create role, edit role, view role, delete role, assign permissions to role, view permissions by role, create users, edit users, view users, delete users, assign users to role, and view users by role. So these 13 operations, such as the 13 APIs I created and running in my local machine. I will show you the few resources such as, look at here, list of users. This API will return a list of users. This API doesn't have any authentication. Now we are going to add the token based authentication for this resource server. And then this is a list of roles. Okay. And then this is the list of permissions. So we don't need any permission to access this resource so far, but we need a permission to access these resources because we created a role-based authentication schema design, so we don't allow them. All the users can't do all the actions, so every user have some such of permissions. Based on that permission they can access the resource. Now I am going to show you how it will work. The first step, add required Gradle dependency. So we need to add some Spring Security Gradle dependencies in our resource server. Resource server is running in my machine. I'm just opening the build.gradle file, and then here I'm going to add these dependencies. So look at here, one is the Spring Boot Charter security dependency, and another one is the Spring Security OAuth2 dependency, and another one is the Spring Security JWT. So these dependencies are required to make your application act as a resource server. Now I am going to refresh this Gradle project. So previously the resource server is running in my machine. I just want to terminate that because I'm making a changes here. Okay, so I added those dependencies. So these are the required dependencies we need to add in your resource server. After that, enable resource server. We need to add the enable resource server annotation in our main Spring Boot application class file. In the resource server, I have a main Spring Boot application class file. In this class file, I need to add the @enable resource server. So look at here, I added this annotation. After adding this annotation, your application will act as a resource server. Next one is the do Bcrypt encryptor encoder while saving user password. we need to encode the user password before saving into the database, so that while getting access token, the Bcrypt algorithm will use to match the user's password, and then it will return a access token. So we have to store the user password in the Bcrypt encoder format. Now I am going to show you how to create a Bcrypt encoder string and how to store into the database. Already the resource server have an API to create a user. So while creating a user, I am going to encrypt that user password. So in resource server, I return a class file called users resource DAO. Here I return a method to create a user. So look at here. Right now I am storing a plain text as a password. So but now I am going to encode that. So here I am creating an object for Bcrypt password encoder. So and then this password encoder I am importing that. Okay, by using this password encoder object, I am just encoding the raw password. So look at here, while creating a user, insert into users table, I am just encrypting the user password before saving into the database. And then we need to add the security OAuth2 resource JWT public key. We created the JSON token by using private key and public key, and then we don't need to share the private key, but the public key should be there in the resource server. So I will show you how to add the JWT public key, I mean the public key, how to understand by the JWT. We need to add it by using the security OAuth2 resource. In the application.yaml file, look at here under the security OAuth2 resource attribute, the filter order we need to mention as 3, and then look at here the JWT key value. Here I added the public key, so that whenever we sending a access token to the resource server, the resource server will check the token whether the token is a valid token or not against by using this public key. Next one is that we need to create a security configuration class in the resource server. Now I'm going to create a class called security configuration. Already some class files are there. Those class files are I return a REST APIs to create a users, delete users, view users, and then like create roles, and then assign roles, assign permissions to roles, and assign users to role. Okay, so this is a security configuration class file. This is a configuration class file, so that I added the at configuration annotation, and then I enable the web security for our application, and then I enable the global method security also. And then this class file should extend the web security configurer adapter. So we are not doing any session policy, so that in the security configuration class file in the HTTP security, I just added the session creation policy as never. Okay, so we created the security configuration class file in the resource server. Next one is the create access token mapper model. This access token mapper model will, after decrypting the access token, the access token have some other attributes such as first name, last name, user type. Those kind of informations we are going to map it into the one of the Java model. So that model represents the access token mapper model. Now I am going to create a class called access token mapper. Access token mapper. I created a class called access token mapper. Here I am going to add the attributes such as the user attributes, first name, last name, and everything. So look at here in the access token mapper, I created the user attributes such as ID, first name, last name, email ID, password, user type, mobile, and country, everything. Okay, so here I added the authorities also. So maybe we don't require the password in the access token mapper, so I just removing that, because in the access token we don't have any password, we have only the user attributes and then the authorities. Okay, the next step, we need to create a JWT converter component class. So now I'm going to show you how to create a component class for JWT converter, and then how to add the, how to extract the access token details, and then how to add it in the access token mapper model. Now I'm going to create a class called JWT converter. This is a component class file. This is a component class file. We need to add the add component annotation, and this class file extends the default access token converter, and it implements the JWT access token converter configurer. Okay, here I overrided the method configure method, and then the converter dot set access token converter I setting as a true value. Then in the same class file, the JWT converter, I overrided the method extract authentication. Here I'm just extracting the auth token, and then I'm adding all the user attributes into the access token mapper. So look at your ID, first name, last name, country, mobile, user type, and then the list of granted authorities. Everything I am adding into the access token mapper class. So if you extract in the access token, you will get these other attributes. Such as the user attributes. Those user attributes I am adding into the access token mapper. So that's all from the JWT converter class file. And then we need to add the pre-authorized role to all the resources. Now I will show you the resources list, the APIs list. So we need to add the pre-authorized annotation to all the resources. So now I'm going to show you the resources. The first one is the permission resource. This permission resource contains the list of permissions API. The permission API, it returns the list of permissions. So now I'm going to add the pre-authorized annotation. So look at here. Now I'm going to add as any role view underscore permission, and super admin. I added the permission name is super admin. I just want to confirm it whether the resource name is same or not. So in the authorization server, I explained you in the previous video, the OAuth2 service. This is a service method. The service method, I added the role underscore super admin. So this is the super admin permission. Okay. So the permission resource, whoever have the permission, view permission, and then the super admin permission, they can access this resource. The list of view permissions. So look at here in the permission details, select star from permissions, view permission. So whoever having this view permission, they can access this, and also the super admin can access this resource. Likewise, I am going to add the permission one by one. So this is the permission resource, and then role resource. In the role resource I added, this is for get API. It will return a get list of roles. The list of roles permission view role. Okay. So now I am going to add this view role. Likewise, and then next this one is the delete role permission. Now I am going to add the delete role permission. I already explained you these permissions should controlled by the developers, not by the anyone. These permissions should assign only by the developers. Okay, and then this is for edit role. Now I am adding a pre-authorized annotations for all the endpoints, and then this is for create role. Okay, So whoever have the permission create role, they can access this resource. They can create a role, and also the super admin can do all the operations, okay, as any role. The next step, other resources such as the user resource. The user resource also, this is for get list of users. So I just want to copy the pre-authorized annotation and pasting it here. So this is for view resource, sorry, view users, view users. This API will return the list of users, and then this API will delete the user, delete users. So whoever have this permission, they can do this API operation, delete user and then edit user. Basically the edit represents like a update, okay, and then this is for create user. So whoever have this create users permission and super admin can access this resource. Likewise, we have some other resources also there. Users by role resource. This is like assign users to role, and then this is for view users to role, like view users by role. Whoever have this permission, they can view the list of users by role ID, and then this is for assign users to role. Okay, we are going to assign the users to particular role, and then we have another one, permissions by role resource. In the permissions by role resource, I just want to copy the pre-authorized annotation and I'm pasting it here. So look at here, this is basically like as view permissions by role. So everywhere at the pre-authorized annotation, I adding a super admin permission also. So super admin can access all the resource, and then if the user don't have the super admin permission, the user should have this permission to access this API. I mean the assign permissions to role and view permissions by role. Okay, we added all the pre-authorized annotation, I mean the operations for all the APIs. Next one, I'm going to show you how to extract the token details in each resource. In this example, I will show you the extracted token details in particular one user, I mean one API for creating a user. So you can extract the token details if the resources, other resources need. Just I will show you how to extract the token details inside the API. I will show it in the example for one API. If you need, you can add it to the other endpoints also. So now I'm going to show you in the permission resource. So whoever accessing the permission resource, not the user's name, I mean not the view users or something, I will use this API to extract the token details and assigning into the access token mapper. So look at here, everyone will get the security context folder get context dot get authentication, and then get details method will return the OAuth2 authentication details. In this OAuth2 authentication details, we map the access token mapper. Okay, so by using this access token mapper, you can get all the user attributes such as the first name, last name, and everything. System.out.println, right? Sysout. So here I just want to add the access token mapper dot get first name, so that we can know the first name of the user who is accessing this resource. Likewise, we can get all the user attribute details from the access token mapper. I just want to know the get user first name and last name. I just printing it here. Okay, so these details will extracted from the access token and will print it here. So I just add this access token mapper decoded details in the view permission API only. If you need, you can add it in the other resource APIs also. Okay. The last one is the demo. I'm going to run this application once again. So previously we seen all the resources we can access without any authentication. Now we need to send the access token. Now I'm going to run this application once again. This is the resource server application. Now I am running as a Java application. So if you guys are using Gradle, use Gradle clean build command. After complete the build, so you can find the jar file under the libs directory and then run the jar file. So look at here, now the Tomcat has started on the port 8000. Now I am going to access the resources. Now I am trying to get the list of resources. Previously we got the response. Now I am trying to access once again. So look at here, now the full authentication is required to access this resource. Likewise the roles and also the permissions, all the APIs, now we need a full authentication is required to access this resource. Okay, now I am going to get the access token from the auth server. Auth server is running on my machine on the port localhost 8080. Now this is the user, I have the full permission. So now I am going to get the token for this user. This is the access token. Now I am going to send this access token in the request header to access the resource server APIs. So look at here, in the authorization we need to add the bearer token. Now we will get the data. So look at here, now I can able to get the data. How I'm getting in the sense, so the user resource, right? This user resource, as any role, view users and super admin have the permission to get the list of resources. Now I just want to extract this token in the JWT IO. In the JWT IO site, you can decode your token. So look at here. Here I have a permission role underscore view users. Okay, role underscore view users permission I have. So that's why I can able to access this resource, role underscore view resource. And then I am going to access the role also by sending this same access token. I just copied it and then I'm adding now authorization. I'm sending an access token in bearer. Okay. So look at here. Now I can able to view the list of resources, and then the same wise I'm trying to access the list of permissions API. Bearer. Okay, bearer I added already. So maybe, okay, the authorization I forgot to send. Authorization. So look at here, I can be able to view the list of permissions. So and also in the system.out.println we added the first name and last name. So look at here. So I added this first name and last name by getting a token, extracted token, and then this data will print it while accessing the list of view permissions. So look at here. William and John is the first name and last name, so that we can extract the token details also. Okay, now I am going to create a user, and then I'm not going to assign any permissions. Now I'm using that token, I'm going to access all the resources. Okay, so this is the API. Now I'm going to create it. This user have the permission to create a list of users. Now I'm going to use first name Amar, and then last name is Varan, and then the email ID I'm going to provide it amreswaranvel@gmail.com, and then the password I am giving here is Amar, and then my mobile number is +91 something, and then my user type is admin. Normal admin is not a super admin. And then the country is, I'm going to provide it, India. Now I'm going to create a user. So look at your user created successfully. Now we can go to the database and check whether is the user has created or not. So now I'm going to show you select star from user. So look at here, the third user has been created successfully. Now I'm going to get the token for this user. Okay, by using a auth server and the password I'm giving Amar. Now I can able to get this token, but just assume this user don't have any permission. Okay, because I created now only. Okay, this user don't have any permissions. So look at here, he has only the country, user type, username, mobile number, ID and everything, but he don't have any permissions list. Now using this token I am going to access the resources, like I just want to view the list of users, but now I will get a forbidden error. Okay, 403 forbidden access is denied because this user don't have any permission. Likewise, I'm trying to view the list of permissions, so look at your access is denied. And also we added the super type user, I mean the user type user is a super admin. Now I am going to get the token for the super admin also. So this is the super admin user type. Now we can able to access all the resources without any issues. Now I'm going to paste it here. So look at here in the authorities we have a role underscore super admin. By using this token I'm trying to access this resource bearer. So look at here, I can able to view the roles, and then I can able to view the list of permissions. Also this API I return the list of users, and then we can assign the users to role, and then we can assign the permissions to role. Everything we can do. This is for users by role, and then this is for permission by role. So we can assign view permissions by role, we can assign permissions to role. All the API written in the resource server. Okay, you can find the source code in the GitHub. GitHub link is I added in the description box. Okay, you can get this code. Thank you for watching this video. In the next video, there is the web application integration. I will integrate these APIs in the web application. In the web application UI, you can assign the roles to the user, you can assign the permissions to the roles, and then you can add, edit, delete the users, and then you can able to view the list of permissions. You can able to view the roles, and then you can do the add, edit and delete the roles, everything. In the UA part I will update you in the next video. Please subscribe my YouTube channel, like my videos and share my videos. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.